What is soul food? Welcome to Philosopher's Corner. I'm John. What is soul food? Obviously, most of us watching this video have eaten food at some point in our life, and I think most of us are familiar with the idea of soul food. But what is it? So, to begin with, there's every different kind of soul food. There's soul food for every race, creed, color, nationality. Everywhere on the earth has a version of soul food, but we never talk about it, and we don't really know what it is. I mean, essentially, Anthony Bourdain's whole series was just him going around the world eating a lot of soul food. I mean, he had a lot of street food too, but they sort of have an intersectionality of soul and street food. That's kind of what he was showing us, was that he knew where to get soul food, particular to the culture that he was in. So off the bat, we can say that we know that soul food has a reputation in a culture as a dish that can make your actual soul feel better, which sounds like quite a trick. And each culture has a different version of it, right? I mean, in American culture, when you say soul food, the mind automatically thinks African American cuisine, and it starts thinking about a whole range of soul food in the black world. Anything from obviously fried chicken, like chicken and waffles, fried chicken, all of the southern dishes like fried okras and green beans, and all chitlins, and the whole buffet of basically deep south soul dishes. And and there's a bunch, sweet potatoes and oh my god, now I'm gonna sound silly because I'm thinking of them all, making me hungry. Anyway, there's oh god, the ribs are so good. Anyway, there's a whole spread of soul food, right? And particular to that, but well, let's not be particular to that. So in each different culture, there's a version of soul food, right? And one of the things about soul food is when people eat it, they say, oh, they hit the spot, right? It actually makes a person's soul feel better, okay? And soul food, it varies, right? So maybe if you're in the suburbs on a Friday night, your awesome pizza spot is your soul food spot. Or if you're in Europe and it's late night after the club, you've got a spot that makes your soul feel good, like a gyro or a euro or a doner, however you want to say it. After the club, you hit a doner kebab, and that hits it, right? And there's deeper cuts of it. I mean, ostensibly, an American Thanksgiving dinner is soul food. So obviously it's not the actual ingredients, right? Because if you look at soul food across cultures, oftentimes the soul food came up as a remedy for people who were living in basically poverty, and they took what they could find to make a meal that would make them feel good. And so a lot of times the meals come from cuts of meat that no one else would really use, and vegetables that no one even thought maybe were edible or whatever. The whole thing, and that's where this great tradition of cooking in poverty that creates these amazing dishes is really born of, was people on the lower end of the socioeconomic scale using the resources to make a meal that just not just filled their stomach, but nourished their soul. Now, I'm partial to believe that they were probably figuring out some nutritional aspects that normal food science, wasn't telling anybody about, and that in their cooking process, there was a whole bunch of unleashing, certain vitamins, nutrients, and this and that, and things that actually were helping their biological survivability. Otherwise, we wouldn't keep doing it. You know, like it. No matter how good the food tastes, if it was not, if it was killing you or not powering your day, when you're in poverty, there's no way that you would keep going back to it. So obviously, they were unlocking some sort of nutritional food diet doing this. And when they were going through their menus, you know, figuring out like the different dishes they could make out of the resources they had, they stumbled into ones that like were hit the spot really deep. And they said, hey, this makes my soul feel good. Like this makes me all right with being in poverty and being in crappy situations. I feel so good. And so, you know, what's in that? And when we look at those dishes and we look at those contexts of that, we see not only did they come up with a dish that is tasty in and of itself, but they found a way to inject it with energy. They found a way to put love into it. They found a way to put soul into it. They found a way to make that meal something of an event. It's almost as though they were having a holiday on a non-holiday, almost a holiday meal on a non-holiday. And they found a way to be able to do it repeatedly. And because they found a way to do it repeatedly, it became essential to their survival, the survival of their soul. Because the poverty had stripped them away of so many material world enjoyments that it forced them to be living a strictly soulful life, because they had been stripped away of all the other options. And so at that level, and with those resources, they found meals that matched up with their soul vibe. And those, when you find those make you feel, it doesn't matter if you're a millionaire or a pauper. When you sit down, you have a meal that makes you feel happy to be alive. It doesn't matter if you paid $200 for that meal or 2 cents for that meal. That's the meal that you want to be eating. I mean, there's nothing more temporal than eating a meal. So if you can find one that stretches time and makes you feel love and depth and appreciation for life and appreciation for your own existence, even when you're mired in poverty, that's a meal that you're going to make a lot in your life. And that is a true treasure on your dish. To be able to have that moment and to be able to look forward to that moment, that's something that gets you through the trials and tribulations of your day and your week and your month, in some cases your whole life. In some cases, that's all we have to live for. If you know that you have your favorite meal on the calendar, you can get through a lot of things in the week to make it to your favorite meal. That's a thing you can do. And soul food is a description of the meals and the menus that have evolved from that space in human existence. Because when you're eating those meals, not only is it's exciting your memories, it's giving you such a joy for life and such an appreciation that it's a full-bodied appreciation, because it's going into you. And you know it's going to be in you for a while, and you're really ingesting the food, the energy, the intention of the food, the love, knowing what it is, knowing what it's going to do for you. And philosophically, as humans, since we know that a human being is a consciousness having a physical experience, having food that satisfies both the flesh and the consciousness is perfection. And it results in an unparalleled, delightful feeling for the person eating the meal. And truly one of the great treasures in life. So, what is soul food? It's one of the great treasures in life. Well, thanks for spending some time here at Philosopher's Corner. I hope you found it helpful. And as always, have fun.